Fighting for the IBF belt against Moses, it will be everything for me. I dreaming about that for the last 20 years, and my happiness will be huge, amazing. And I don't need anything. I don't need, celebrations. I don't need people around me. I don't need anything. I just need that belt and that feeling inside me. That will be just enough, that feeling that I know what I went through, that I know how much sacrifice I put in. And when I get that belt, man, it will be, something special. I can think a lot about circumstances, about titles, about people. I must focus on training and fighting, and so every time basically is same, so, and I must stay grounded, I must stay disciplined, and I think that's my biggest strength, that discipline. And I think there's really rare fighters that been disciplined like I am. Like last 20 years, I'm focused only on training, only boxing, no party, no drugs, no alcohol, eating clean, training hard every day.
All mad, you're supposed to be having fun up here. I want that. I want it to be relaxed. I don't want it to be all uptight. When you're uptight, you don't do the things correctly like you should, in my opinion anyway. A fighter that's loose, relaxed, is a better fighter for me. Come fight time, we're gonna concentrate on what we're doing, but we've done the work here, so it should be an easy time in the fight.
He's like another threat. Obviously, since I started my career, all of them posed a threat to me. So obviously, like with Dillian Whyte, it's just trying to execute the game plan as usual. It's just like step by step, fight by fight. If you're gonna ask me like what's my plan in this division, is to knock Dillian Whyte out, I guess.
The formula that you're looking for when working with a fighter, obviously you want them to have some natural talent, always helps. But more importantly than that, you want someone that's hardworking, enjoys what they do, resilience, mental and physical. I would say those are the main things, and we believe that he's got all of those skills. Good. Nice loose front shoulder, relaxed jab. Good. Little feint, jab, turn it into a hook.
Training with Ben has been...
Filip Hrgovic says winning a world title would only be the beginning. Once he becomes champion, he wants to chase every belt, unify the division, and become undisputed. His goal is simple: keep winning and prove he belongs at the very top.
World title, my career is just begun. It's just beginning. Because then I'll finally be in position to make the rules. You know what I mean? So it's just beginning. Then I need to unify all the belt, and then it's just beginning. So, yeah, no emotion.
Moses Itauma says he has enormous respect for Filip Hrgovic, and that respect keeps him focused and fully prepared. He doesn't want to underestimate Hrgovic or be caught off guard by anything once they step into the ring. Moses and his team have studied 2 of Hrgovic's fights carefully, analyzing his patterns, tendencies, and possible weaknesses. But Itauma wants to prove he is more than just a smart boxer. He believes he has a complete range of skills to bring into the fight, and when fight night arrives, he promises to show the full package, the full ticket.
He's going to get a shock in it. There's 2 fights that we kind of been working on and we've been looking at for Filip Hrgovic, and hopefully on fight night you guys can see the tendencies, the work, and the work that goes on behind and outside of just the ring, because I feel like what people tend to forget is that, like, although I am a smart boxer, I can also display other things. So when it comes to fight night, should be the full ticket.
Filip Hrgovic clearly believes he can win and seems to view this fight as a puzzle he knows how to solve. But from Moses Itauma's perspective, Hrgovic could be stepping into a much more difficult challenge than he expects. Once the bell rings, he'll have to deal with Itauma's pressure, power, and ability to make adjustments. Hrgovic says he has the solution, but now he has to prove it inside the ring.
Could you get anything from when the face-off you done, or can you see anything that he thinks about this fight?
He probably
sense? Is he scared? Is he worried?
he accepted this fight. He probably believe, he'll beat me. And he said, this is a puzzle he can solve.
You don't like puzzles, do you?
So he's big in puzzles, and we'll see.
When I spoke to you at the launch press conference, you said you didn't believe.
Moses Itauma says he doesn't pay much attention to the promotion surrounding his fights. Whether it's posters, advertisements, or media coverage, none of that matters once he steps into the ring. He understands that promotion helps attract attention and gets fans interested, but it isn't his focus. For Moses, the job is simple: prepare properly, enter the ring, and perform at his best. When the bell rings, the only thing that matters is what he can do inside the ring.
I don't really focus on that, only because it doesn't do me any favors when I'm in the ring. So like, although the posters are good and XYZ, like at the end of the day, I still go and perform. So obviously, all that is advertisement to get eyes on the fight. My job is to do the fighting, so I never really pay no attention.
Filip Hrgovic makes it clear that outside opinions don't matter to him. What really matters is what happens inside the ring when he finally faces Moses Itauma. He believes people often talk about boxing without truly understanding what fighters experience. Fans can change their opinions quickly, praising you as the best one day and criticizing you after a single loss. For Hrgovic, the only thing that matters is proving himself when the bell rings. There may be plenty of talk outside the ring, but the real answer will come through the fight.
But it's not important what people think. It's important in the ring between me and him. So we'll see, People just talk, man. In boxing, these boxing fans are fucking stupid. One day, you're the best ever. You lose one fight, then you're the worst. People just change opinion just like this, They were, it's crazy. Boxing fans are crazy, man. They just don't know shit about boxing, and that's just, nothing.
Moses Itauma says Filip Hrgovic has always been a fighter who talks a lot before his bouts, using his words to build attention and get into an opponent's head. But Itauma believes the talk hasn't always matched Hrgovic's performances in the ring, with explanations often following his results. Instead of worrying about the noise, Moses says he'll simply let Hrgovic talk. Once the bell rings, there are no excuses, only the fight and what happens inside the ring.
But Filip Hrgovic's always been a talker. He's always trying to get or said something before the fight, and if he's had a poor performance, he's lost, or whatever he's won, he's always had an excuse. So he just is a talker. I just let the talker be the talker, innit?
And then when it comes to preparing for...
Filip Hrgovic believes a loss could actually help Moses Itauma in the long run. He points out that Itauma is only 21 and says becoming world champion this early could bring huge pressure and expectations. Hrgovic feels Itauma may benefit more from gaining experience, improving his skills, and developing step by step before taking on the responsibility of being a champion. In his view, facing defeat now could make Itauma stronger, wiser, and better prepared for the future.
Of course. I think the best for him would be if he loses this fight. That will be the best for him as a fighter and as a person, because he's young, man, and if he wins title so young, it's gonna ruin his life and his soul, and his, he wouldn't be able to handle that pressure. I'm different kind of animal, and I'm 35, and I've been through a lot of things in my life, so I can handle it much better. And for him to be world champion at 21, it will be too much for him. And it's the best for him to lose this fight, and to build his career again, step by step, you know, and that will be the best for him.
You know,
That's my advice for him.
Moses Itauma addresses the questions surrounding his chin, which has become a common topic among boxing fans. He says experienced professionals don't usually question his durability, suggesting most of the doubt comes from people without real ring experience. Itauma admits he doesn't know the answer for certain either, but sees this fight as the perfect opportunity to finally prove how well he can take a shot.
Itauma joined Drive yesterday and had this response to those asking questions about his yet untested chin.
Do you know, like, people that are in boxing don't really ask them questions, you know, people that have like experience, like, or have been boxing themselves, they don't really ask them questions. It's more like the fans and people that haven't really been in the ring. So I think that probably answers my question, or answers your question.
Yeah.
Do I necessarily pay attention to it? Not necessarily, because like, as much as they don't know, I don't know. So it's like, we'll wait to find out, innit?
That's good, isn't it? He's that good. He's that quick, that fast, that he doesn't know.
Well, that's the point. I've written it down. Untested chin. There's a reason for that.
Because no one's hit him.
Because he's good.
Filip Hrgovic acknowledges that Moses Itauma has genuine talent, impressive speed, and huge potential. However, he feels the young heavyweight is receiving far too much hype. Hrgovic believes promoters are trying to turn Itauma into the next major superstar because of his age, explosive style, and exciting performances. He even suggests that if Itauma were from another country, he might not be getting the same level of attention. In Hrgovic's view, the ability is undeniable, but the hype around Itauma has simply gone too far.
Moses Itauma, what did Hrgovic think of it? Have a listen, Dave.
He got a talent, he got a speed, he got some good abilities, but it's a lot of hype. Promoters always want to build you more than you are, you know, they live off that making us superstars. So I think it's a lot of hype, and I think if he's coming from different country, it wouldn't be like that. And yeah, a lot of hype, of course.
Moses Itauma insists that having a world title on the line hasn't changed his approach to the fight. His desire to defeat Filip Hrgovic is exactly the same as it was when the matchup was originally announced. Itauma acknowledges that there is now slightly more at stake because a world championship is involved, but he says it hasn't created any additional pressure. His determination to win was already strong from the beginning, and that remains unchanged. For Itauma, the mission is straightforward: enter the ring, defeat Hrgovic, and show the world exactly what he can do.
It don't really change like anything for me, really, because, pardon me, I'm as eager to beat Hrgovic before it actually became for a world title. So now the world title's on the line, I still got the same amount of hungerness. I still want to beat him as much as I did before. It's just like, I guess now there's a little bit more at stake, but I mean, still feels.
Crick's Corner believes the fight could take a dramatic turn if Filip Hrgovic manages to withstand Moses Itauma's early onslaught. He expects Itauma to start aggressively, relying on his explosive speed and power to put Hrgovic under serious pressure in the opening rounds. However, if Hrgovic can survive that initial storm, his experience may become a crucial factor. As the rounds progress, Hrgovic's strength, timing, and relentless pressure could begin to take their toll on Itauma. Crick's Corner feels that if Hrgovic makes it into the later rounds, he could gradually take over and possibly secure a stoppage win.
If Hrgovic can get through those first couple of rounds, when Moses is going to be his most dangerous and his most explosive, I believe the fight changes. I think Hrgovic's strength, his experience, his timing, his physicality could take over the fight. And I think we could see a stoppage from Filip Hrgovic. And yes, that's what I'm saying. I think Hrgovic could stop Moses.
Moses Itauma has heard a lot of Filip Hrgovic's comments about the hype around him, and admits he's starting to get tired of hearing Hrgovic talk. However, Itauma still respects Hrgovic's right to express his opinion, recognizing that he has earned his place in boxing and accomplished far more throughout his career. Despite that, Itauma refuses to let the outside noise distract him. He says his attention remains firmly on his own ambitions, his training, and the job he needs to get done once the two heavyweights finally meet in the ring.
To be fair, I've been playing so many voice notes. I'm tired of hearing his voice, to be fair. he's entitled to his opinion, innit? Because like he has earned his stripe in the sport of boxing. Like he's beat so many things. So he's beat so many opponents, and he's achieved so much. He's achieved a lot more than I have. So I guess he's entitled to his own opinion. But obviously my job is to not let that distract me from my
Crick's Corner describes this as a rare situation for Filip Hrgovic, with the majority of the expectations placed firmly on his opponent, Moses Itauma. The young heavyweight carries enormous pressure to prove that the hype around him is justified. At just 21 years old, Itauma is already being praised as an incredibly talented and explosive fighter, with some even comparing his potential and fighting style to legends such as Mike Tyson. That has only added to the excitement surrounding this matchup. Now, fans are eager to find out whether Itauma can live up to those massive expectations when he steps into the ring against a dangerous and experienced opponent like Hrgovic.
Made another point, which I thought was absolutely bang on the money, and that is, you know, probably for the first time for Hrgovic, he's going to be going into this fight, and all the pressure is going to be on his opponent's shoulders with Moses Itauma. It's all right having all this hype, but with that comes pressure on Moses Itauma's shoulders, and they're very young shoulders at that. So you've got to add that into the mix as well. Now, look, we know that Moses Itauma is massively talented. Come on, you know, this is why everybody's excited. He's explosive. You know, people compare him to Mike Tyson.
Dave Coldwell says the attention surrounding Moses Itauma is nothing out of the ordinary when a seasoned fighter takes on a highly rated young prospect. He notes that Filip Hrgovic experienced a similar promotional spotlight earlier in his own career. Coldwell also feels Itauma has genuinely earned the recognition he is receiving through his performances. At such a young age, with an impressive 14-0 record, Itauma has already demonstrated plenty of ability and potential inside the ring. In Coldwell's view, the hype isn't being created solely by promoters. Itauma's performances themselves have given fans and boxing insiders plenty of reasons to believe he could become a major star.
Listen, I think what Filip's doing there is what we always see when we have a fight like this, where you have an experienced fighter that's kind of been around the block a while, seen it, bought a t-shirt, and then he has a young whippersnapper that he's coming up against. They always want to, you know, a lot of times they say, oh, he's just a kid. But instead of saying he's a kid, he's kind of like gone down the, you know, he's just the young prospect that's getting the promoter's treatment. And they all do. Filip will have done when he was at the beginning of career. I mean, I remember watching Filip as he came through, and I always feel as though we're still waiting for him to have that breakout. We're still waiting for him to prove this potential that we've always spoke about with Hrgovic. So he's had the same sort of thing where he's been developed and brought through with hype. Yeah, it's gone a little bit flat because he's got a little bit older, but now it's Moses' turn. But the only difference is I think Moses in his 14 fights, and what is he, 20 years old, I don't think you can ask much more of him, because it's not just a case of he's getting the hype and he's getting the fight put in front of him. It's actually how well he's looking.
Keith Connolly believes Filip Hrgovic needs to establish himself immediately and attack Moses Itauma from the opening bell. He feels that allowing Itauma to settle into the fight could increase the chances of cuts or injuries becoming a factor later on. Connolly argues that Itauma still hasn't been fully tested against elite-level opposition, giving Hrgovic a chance to exploit that lack of experience by applying non-stop pressure early. He believes Hrgovic's experience, high work rate, and punching power could eventually overwhelm Itauma, particularly because the young heavyweight has never dealt with an opponent bringing this level of pressure and intensity.
I think there's a smart idea with Hrgovic's a history of cuts and things like that.
I think that's it, the only thing you can do. Why would you lay back and get cut and try to extend the fight when you have a great fighter in Moses, but he's not battle tested yet, he's not experienced? The best strategy is probably to jump on him right away before you get cut, and also try to overwhelm Moses. He's never been with a guy like Filip. Filip throws 1,000 punches and he hits hard. So we'll see what happens.